Goodnight, Mommy is a 2014 Austrian horror film directed by Veronika Franz and Severin Fiala. The movie presents a psychological horror narrative centered around a mother and her twin sons, set in an isolated, modernist home. The film is renowned for its intense atmosphere, disturbing imagery, and psychological complexity. The movie opens with eerie, serene shots of the Austrian countryside, contrasting with the tense atmosphere that soon envelops the story. Elias and Luca's identical twin brothers are seen exploring the fields and woods around their isolated, ultra-modern home. Their interactions are filled with the playful innocence typical of young children, yet there's an underlying tension as they await their mother's return. Their mother, a well-known television personality, comes home after a facial surgery that has left her head swathed in bandages. The sight is unsettling. Her face is completely obscured, and her eyes are barely visible through the slits in the gauze. She looks more like a mummy or an imposter than the nurturing figure they remember. From the moment she steps into the house, the mother's behavior is markedly different. She is stern and loving and sets strict rules for the boys. She insists on absolute silence and enforces an odd sense of discipline. The twins notice that she no longer recognizes their little quirks and differences, and her once soft and comforting presence has become cold and menacing. For example, she prepares meals they dislike, refuses to respond to Lucas, and punishes Elias harshly for minor infractions. Her dismissive attitude towards Lucas, in particular, raises red flags for the twins, leading them to suspect something is gravely wrong. The boys' suspicion grows as they notice discrepancies. The woman claiming to be their mother no longer wears the same perfume, her mannerisms are different, and she no longer sings their favorite lullaby. They begin to believe that an imposter has taken their mother's place, a notion fueled by their discovery of an old photo album showing their mother with another woman who looks identical to her. The twins share whispered conversations, plotting to discover the truth. They explore the house, searching for clues in their mother's personal belongings and scrutinizing her every move. In one particularly creepy scene, they find a video of their mother before the surgery, which contrasts sharply with her current behavior and appearance. As their suspicions deepen, the boys' actions become more desperate and bold. They venture into the woods and find a large, almost cathedral-like cave where they hide away from the house, discussing their fears and planning their next moves. This hideout serves as their refuge from the increasingly hostile environment at home. The mother, sensing their distrust, reacts with increasing frustration and aggression. She locks them in their room, removes their toes, and imposes severe restrictions, heightening the sense of captivity and dread. The boys' mistrust culminates in a harrowing confrontation. They overpower their mother and bind her to the bed, covering her head with a pillowcase. In their minds, this is a necessary step to protect themselves and uncover the truth. They demand answers, but the woman remains adamant that she is their mother, pleading with them to release her. Their methods of extracting the truth become progressively more brutal. They glue her lips shut to stop her from screaming and resort to other forms of torture, such as using a magnifying glass to burn her skin. The scenes are excruciatingly tense and graphic, depicting the boys' descent into a horrific madness driven by their delusion. The psychological horror reaches its peak as the audience learns the heartbreaking truth: Lucas is dead. This revelation comes through fragmented flashbacks and the mother's desperate pleas. Lucas died in a tragic accident that Elias witnessed, a trauma so severe that Elias has been unable to accept it. Instead, he created a delusion where Lucas is still alive, interacting with them as if nothing had happened. Their mother's coldness and strange behavior are attempts to cope with her own grief and to help Elias confront reality, albeit in a misguided and harsh manner. She is trying to reach out to Elias, but his psychosis prevents him from seeing the truth. In the film's climax, the mother manages to break free momentarily and runs into the forest, seeking help. Elias, still consumed by his delusion and paranoia, recaptures her. In a final, tragic attempt to break through to him, she tells Elias that she loves both him and Lucas. However, her words fall on deaf ears as Elias's grip on reality slips completely. A fire breaks out during the struggle, quickly engulfing the house. The mother, still tied up and incapacitated, cannot escape and perishes in the blaze. The intensity of the fire and the chaos of the scene heighten the film's sense of doom. The final scenes are haunting. Elias stands outside the burning house, the flames reflecting in his eyes, symbolizing his complete surrender to the delusion. He sees a vision of Lucas and their mother, unscarred and smiling, suggesting that he has fully retreated into his fantasy world. This tragic ending leaves viewers grappling with the film's exploration of grief, denial, and the devastating effects of psychological trauma. Goodnight, Mommy delves deeply into themes of identity, grief, and the fragility of the human psyche. The film meticulously builds an atmosphere of tension and dread, using its minimalist setting to amplify the sense of isolation and psychological turmoil. The stark, clinical design of the house contrasts sharply with the boys' emotional chaos, emphasizing the cold detachment of their mother and the distorted reality Elias experiences. The story examines the devastating impact of unresolved trauma and the extreme lengths to which the mind can go to protect itself from painful truths. Elias's inability to accept Lucas's death leads to a terrifying spiral of delusion and violence, showcasing the horror not in supernatural elements, but in the very human capacity for denial and self-destruction. The ambiguity of the narrative, coupled with the intense performances and meticulous direction, makes Goodnight, Mommy a chilling exploration of the darker aspects of the human condition, leaving a lasting impression on its audience.